This is a good summary on the latest live stream because it went for way too long. It went for way too long. And her channel is becoming more and more disturbing. Obviously, she's trying to get ad breaks. She's trying to, get monetized and whatnot. I don't know how that works when you've had a video demonetized, which she has recently, if that affects your entire channel or just that particular video. But this live stream was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And I'm glad that Gorlick Bread has summed it up because I really don't want to put that much footage on my phone to try and go through the slow bits of it and how stupid it was. So, fortunately, what we have here is a 10-minute recap. So, let's go through this.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Chantal went live for 2 hours, and there's a lot, but also a little bit to cover. So she said she's tired, she's sore, she's glad people are enjoying the walking videos, and of course she has dinner. Dinner was a lean burger, a burger so lean. Imagine this, she had to have oil to fry it. Potatoes, tomatoes, cheese. She has yogurt to go with the meal. She says that she's using her trips to the hospital as motivation, citing she knows she walked more than a mile a day. Someone says that means she can go further than ALR. She says, it's not really a competition. They're just going to do what they can. She says she doesn't even like measuring things, like the distance, because that takes the fun out of it. She just wants to walk in cool places, because that's her favorite exercise. Someone asks her why she doesn't eat at the table, and despite the fact that everyone sees she can't fit, she said she just likes to sit and eat where she likes. One of the members does seem frustrated. This is an open chat. So I don't know how she's going to kind of adapt to this in the future, but that's now both of these chats where someone has been frustrated about that. The same questions are asked repetitively. Julia, Sala, traveling. She spends a fair amount of time going over her love for hummus and how the unicity makes her feel full. Someone actually tells her, she has to slow down while eating so that her mind, her stomach can kind of comprehend. And she says she will, and then immediately goes right back to eating. I mean, the plate is gone in probably less than 20 or 25 minutes. And she talks about how badly she wants to eat noodles, but she won't. And people basically...
Yeah, she literally, after clearing that plate, said she wanted to make 3 packets of ramen noodles and with cheese? What a weird thing to even want. You gotta have cheese on everything? First of all, the ramen noodles themselves are high carb. That's like carbo loading right there. And then you've got the high sodium packets that come with the ramen noodles, right? So, I got a bunch of them in my cabinet, but I only use them infrequently when, like, I have a cold or something, because they keep, right? You can keep them in the cabinet for a long time. So if I have a sore throat or something, then okay, I got something salty for the back of my throat. But this is, it's scary to see her get so egged on by her following to the point where she just won't stop eating. She just won't stop. And I think that, I'm no psychologist, but it seems like the problem is twofold. She's being tormented by her own following. As Gorlick Bread is going to say, she is unwilling to listen to the people who are giving her genuine health advice. Like the RN that was in her live stream. Which the channel, I picked that up. I'll see if I can get that for you. There was an RN that was in her live stream and has apparently been doing some analysis. And I just added that channel, so I should be able to find that. But she's, listening to these people who are egging her on. She's not listening to the people who are giving her actual helpful advice. And then she also has whatever mentally is going on in her own head, right? That got her to the place where she is right now.
Come out and say, listen, this is why we've asked you, if you're really concerned about your health, don't have snacks, candy, noodles, don't have them around. At this point, she's basically saying, hey, I want to eat 5 packs of noodles, and they're feet away from her. And trust me, the willpower gets tested and fails before the end of this stream. She says she has seen an eye doctor, but she's not gotten the glasses. And some of them start to ask her about YouTube content being made about her. She said she can't keep up with these things. And she basically later just kind of cites that a nurse apparently...
I don't think... Okay, I'm going to throw this out here. It is obviously my speculation about the situation. But on December 18th, Salah started chatting with Kai Bella, right? On December 18th, Chantel claims that she went to the eye doctor and then to the ER and has no evidence of either appointment. We are now a month out. She does not have glasses, despite the fact that she was supposedly given a prescription. She repeats part of my story of going to a doctor's appointment and then feeling faint. But she started feeling a little bit better, so she drove herself to the ER. Well, my story was a bit more severe. I was in a physical therapy appointment, and my blood pressure bottomed out to 80/40. So I had to be carted off in an ambulance to the hospital to spend the night on a potassium drip after doing every test they could possibly think of to find out, do I have brain tumors? Do I have lung cancer? Do I, they did a chest x-ray, they did EKGs several times, 3 within the first 10 hours. But they had me hooked up to stuff all night where I was getting randomly tested and could not sleep because they also had the cuff on my arm to check my blood pressure overnight, and I had the potassium drip going on all night. I was very detailed about my story. I talked about the fact that I had not eaten in over 8 hours and had missed the meal service for the hospital admitted patients. So they located a turkey sandwich for me. Her story was eerily similar to mine, right? And the saline drip, all of it. It didn't make sense that they would have done all that for her if they had her in the waiting room most of the time, which is what she said. She said she was in the waiting room most of the time. Okay. So they did not actually bring you back in to hook you up to anything if you were in the waiting room most of the time. But anyway, so on the 18th, she has this incredulous story of being in the ER of December, the 18th of December. This is approximately a month after my ER visit. So my videos had already been up for quite some time. And she's got the eye visit appointment. I think, and like I said, this is just, speculation. I think she was already aware and had some sort of arrangement with Sala that because she has said on her live streams that she knew about some of his fetishes. I think they already had an arrangement that he could have these types of affairs because it's the sort of thing that she had done in the past herself. According to her, we really don't know the truth on any of that. And I think that her freak out video when she found out about this, because Kybella put all the vanishing text messages on Twitter, I think it was, they were outed. The couple with the weird fetishes was outed, and I think she felt like she was protecting her reputation in that moment, and that she needed to present faux outrage to get around. Oh, I have a bet with a friend of mine. I have a bet with a friend of mine. I gotta do that later. She said that that, she was outraged. I'm never gonna, once a cheater, always a cheater, blah blah blah, right? But within less than 2 hours, Salah had a statement written that looks like it was written by Chantel because the English was too well written for him. And she, within minutes of him posting his statement, posted a video saying that she was going to forgive him, right? So I think it's entirely possible that this was already an ongoing thing, and they were doing, like, I think she hung out with Pete's all day that day on December 18th. I don't think she went to the ER. I don't think she went to the eye doctor. I think she was hanging out with Pete's and smoking weed. But that's just my humble opinion, okay?
I have not seen this. If you have, let me know. A nurse reviewed her walking, her videos, and Chantel just kind of laughs it off. She switches over to show us Julia. I mean, clearly, Chantel is struggling to move from sofa to sofa. Any small movement, her breathing just becomes really labored. She lays down. She says at times her back is 8 out of 10 in terms of pain, and she talks about how she needs to go to sleep.
And that's another thing, is that for those of us who have experienced chronic pain, we realize what that scale means. What is your pain between 1 and 10? 10 means you need to go to the ER. So if she's saying she's at an 8, she's saying basically she should be at an urgent care right now. Right? If anything, I imagine that she does have a lot of back pain. But if anything, it's probably kind of on the level of my chronic pain, which ranges between a 5 and a 7. Okay? Depending on what the weather is, depending on how my potassium level is that day, depending on, how much I've done. So I have chronic pain. It always exists. But I would not put myself upwards of I need medical care at all times. I don't think I could possibly say that I can't live in my house without having constant medical care. And if she's placing herself at an 8, that's what she's saying.
After so much walking today. And let me just say, these streams, even at 2 times speed, are incredibly boring. People are telling her not to lay down after eating, but she refuses. They ask her about a weight goal she has. She says she doesn't. They ask her if her family's going to travel to Kuwait to be with her and support her. She says they can't. And then she makes the admission she's 161 kg, and she's gaining weight because muscles must be growing.
Right.
She can't understand how after walking for 3 straight days, she's still not lost weight. I mean this. This was serious conversation from her. She was not punfully intended hamming it up. She says that walking around builds up her leg muscles. And then later on, she talks about how her clothes start to fit looser. And they tell her there is no way that she's losing weight just by walking 2 or 3 days. And there's even less of a way that she's gaining muscle.
Right.
So right here, you see how we're going to have problems because she wants immediate results on the scale. And when they're not happening, she's in her mind projecting why. And then everyone, even her followers, are telling her, no, that's not accurate. She is impressed by the lack of junk food other than the chicken strips. And she basically starts to go into this Amber Lynn, I've lost, 0.1 kilos then. So she says the dinner was not satisfying. She just wants the cheese and noodles. Of course, the chat just continues to bring up food. They continue to bring up reaction channels. And she literally constantly tells them she's too busy trying to work on herself, trying to pay attention to her health, that she's got so many people that are stuck in the past that she's not going to do that anymore. She no longer has hate in her heart for all these channels. And literally, someone tells her straight out she just needs to rage. And she says that's not helping her, that she just needs to stay focused on her health. She repeatedly talks about needing to go to bed, wanting to edit the vlog. She kind of has the same repetitive topics of what do you love in Kuwait? What do women wear in Kuwait? What are your favorite songs? What's your favorite type of food delivery service? She can't possibly think this is sustainable for a viewer. She talks about wanting to go back to school to finish her degree and then spends like 15 minutes.
We need to clarify. When she says that, she basically is saying that she was a high school dropout and that she did not finish high school. Okay? When we say finish the degree, we're not talking about like an associate's or a bachelor's or something like that. We're talking about a high school education.
Trying to think about what her last high school report was on. I couldn't tell you what my last high school report was on if like my life depended on it. Then we get to where she gets tested. And I don't mean the test that she didn't go through in school. I mean the test of she wants tea and cookies. And she is citing this over and over again. They tell her they want to see the candy tray to make sure she hasn't ate any of the bars. And she says she's given some of them to Salah. And she contradicts herself because she goes, she doesn't even want them. But she does want them. And she even admits it in the same stream. Just an hour ago, she was done eating. Now she can't stop talking about dessert. It's impossible to be successful like this. You've got a chat that's encouraging you. She says that one of the candy bars might be missing because she might have gave it to Salah. She then goes over the places she wants to travel to. This is where she's trying to, in her mind, rationalize not giving in to the temptation. So she talks about Japan, Turkey, England, Malaysia, Indonesia, Morocco, Egypt, all the Gulf countries. She mentions Japan twice, by the way, and says, she just wants to travel everywhere, but she wants to focus on places they can road trip. One place she's not going, though, is a mosque. But eventually, she does go into the kitchen to make tea. She goes over how she serves it for the guests that they have, and she says she's going to be a little bad, and that's when it happens. She takes a bite out of this dessert spread, and of course, before she has to check the expiration date because, what looks to be like a chocolate spread has probably sat there for so long, no doubt it's went bad. So she does take a bite of it, walks back in, struggles to sit down, says she needs to move the coffee table tomorrow, and then we learn that not only has she got the tea, but she's brought the condensed milk that was for Salah and honey. She pretends to not know if condensed milk is sweet or not, and then asks if she even needs the honey. And after making her eat the junk successfully, they literally try to encourage her to talk about Kaya Simons to get a response. And this right here shows you how much her Beezers try to derail her more than anyone. For someone that sits there and says, oh, this train never stops. Chantal, your train has been off the rails for months. Your train isn't going forward anymore. The very people that pay to watch you are actively trying to put you in a worse position, and you only rage out at the people that give you sound advice. During this time, they want her to talk about all her favorite desserts. She says she's going to skip walking tomorrow in favor of cleaning the house. And let me just say,
Yeah, I did. I dropped off at the point where she was lying down on the couch before she went into the kitchen to make tea and cheat some more, because like she had already been sitting there eating things that she shouldn't have been eating. I mean, I don't know how you make your dinner be a hamburger patty, all that bullshit on it. Like, she really doesn't know how to prepare healthy meals at all. And probably what she needs to do is stop by like a Barnes and Noble tomorrow and pick up a recipe book of easy, simple, even if it's like maybe children's recipes. Easy, simple things that you can do with vegetables and stuff, because the way she cooks is, it's no wonder, it is no wonder that we never see the two of them sit down to a meal together unless they are at a restaurant. Because clearly they're not cooking for each other, you know? Neither of them.
it's odd that after running back to Salah, we have these, multi-hour lives. Someone's asking why he's working only during the live streams, and this was just a task to watch. It's honestly the closest thing I can relate it to is when you're with someone and they're on the phone and you can only hear half of the conversation. Imagine doing that for 2 hours, but a really boring conversation that's not about anything important. Not only is it boring, it's just wasting her time. It's more of her being a glorified sloth. All of this time, she should be actively devoting to her health. She says she can't work out tomorrow because she needs to clean, yet she's sitting here wasting 2 hours. She could have cleaned the entire apartment on...
Yeah, seriously, it's a 1-bedroom apartment, Chantel. I cleaned half of my 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo this morning. And I'm going to be doing the other half tomorrow. That's really that difficult for you? And I have more mobility issues than you do.
Live stream during that 2 hours and then still devoted her workout the following day. She goes on to say she doesn't want a hobby because her hobby is laying in bed and scrolling TikTok. And after the 2 hours, she's still sitting there complaining about having to leave and edit the videos. And of course, the final piece of bad advice comes in. She should start lifting weights. She is the last person that needs to lift weights. The last time she attempted to lift weights on a machine, she was out of commission for a month. She then talks about vanity and celebrities being out of control. She says if she loses her teeth, she would never get veneers. She would just, or dentures for that matter, she would just go with gums and be comfortable.
Wow.
And that is the reality of this video. This is Chantal wanting to be...
I don't think she understands that teeth are what pushes your lips out. And so when you lose your teeth, your gums fall in towards your mouth. And that's why they have, there's so many stereotypes of like elderly people that have like their lips kind of caving into their mouth. She doesn't put the forethought into any of this,
comfortable. Salah wasn't there, from what it seemed. She was lonely. She went live, and for 2 hours, she let them dictate her life. And they are ultimately dictating her demise as well, because that 2 hours could have been spent in a much more productive way towards her channel, towards her health, or towards just trying to get herself into a better mental and physical, emotional place. And instead, she's literally sitting there in front of a group of people that are actively throwing things out in the chat with the sole focus of trying to elicit a negative response from her. I'm going to leave you with the top comments from the last video. I appreciate you watching this one, and I will be back as soon as I...
All right, well, thank you very much, Gorlick Bread. I will absolutely share the link and credit you with the content. And, what are you going to do? This is the content we review, right?